Welcome back to Redbird Domination. In today's video, I redrew a golf course by the name of Mansfield National. To give a backstory, I'm literally about to go play a tournament there, plus it is probably my favorite course that I've played in my life, which is, it's kind of weird, but I really like the layout and all. But back to the point. In this video, I am redrawing each hole while giving a narration instead of just some music, because it's something different and I really haven't experimenting a lot lately, so really, this shouldn't be anything new to you, and if it is, then that is a you problem. But before we get into it, like and subscribe or I'm gonna go make you find lakes on Mars, and if you're a golfer, that shouldn't be that hard. Hole 1 is 430 yards from the tips. There is a bunker about 270 yards out from them, and the left side is described by a goalie with long grass that is mowed down. That used to be a hazard. They grow it out during the summer. Then there is long grass with thick weeds on the right. Day 1, I pulled my drive into the stuff on the right. I'm left-handed. Day 2, I hit a nice draw down the left side with a driver. For the green, you will see that there is a bunker short left that the green curls around. This is a regular occurrence on the golf course. And there are mounds guarding the left and back, which is also regular. I made a bogey on the first day and a par on the second day. Moving on to hole 2. This is a 386 yard par 4 with a bunker about 270 yards out. There is OB left and long grass right. Day 1, I hit a poor drive into the mounds that guard you from going OB on the left. Day 2, I hit a 3-wood straight down the middle. This green, as you will see in a moment, is protected by a bunker short right, making you want to mess with that bunker that runs along the fairway and the OB so that you have a better angle. There are mounds around the back and left of the green and a low area short all the way to the back right part of the green. I parred this hole on the first day by hitting an approach shot to 25 feet, and on the second day I bogeyed it because I ended up in those goalies that pass the mounds on the left side. As you can see currently, I am drawing this right side in with the long grass. This long grass is nothing you want to mess with. It is just... Hole 3 is a short par 5 that is about 488 yards long. In fact, it's so short that in the AJGA that I played here to qualify, it was played as par 4. There is long grass on the right side and thick trees that play as a hazard, which I'll be referring to as woods. On day 1, I hit a perfect drive straight down the center, but day 2, I hit a drive straight into the hazard. The next thing to take note of is the huge depression of bushes and long grass that this hole wraps around. Day 1, I hit it over all of this and had about 30 feet left for eagle. And day 2, I laid up because I was about 300 yards out. And then I hit it to 30 feet from that 90-yard shot. It was not a great shot at all. This green is a low area on the right side and a nice little chipping area that you should miss towards on the left side. On day 1, I made a birdie by 2-putting. I hit my putt a bit past on the first one, but day 2, I bogeyed it. And that time, I barely missed my first putt that I had off the fringe. Had about 3 feet left because I hit it too hard, but I tapped that one in for my bogey. Not a great bogey at all because of this whole kind of place. Hole 4 is a 402 yard par 4 that has OB right. It's not really in play as long as you play it correctly. That goalie comes back from hole 1 lining up the left side. The bunkers that you will see in a moment are about 250 yards out from the tips. I hit my drive just short right of these bunkers on day 1. It was very wet, by the way. And on day 2, I hit it just left, kind of messing with the goalie, but I was able to hang on. When it comes to this green, there are no bunkers really protecting it, but a low area on the left and a large hill surrounding the back and the right. I made birdie day 1 by making a 25-footer, and on day 2 I made par by making a 10-footer after blasting a 35-foot putt past the hole 10 feet, almost literally off the green. These little trees surround the right side, kind of saving you from a V. Hole 5 is the most difficult hole on this course, being a 233-yard par 3 that makes you hit a draw, as if a right-handed player, around the trees. The smartest thing to do is hit it right of the green no matter what. These hills are above the green, but it is better than making a double bogey because you hit it left, or even worse. That is exactly what I did day 1 by over fading it, or just hitting a slice. I ended up making double bogey, and as you can see, I was 1 under up to that point, and I went to 1 over. Day 2, I hit a shot just right of the green, playing it how I was trying to, and then chipped it to 10 feet and made that putt. This hole is overall very difficult, and it feels like it can ruin your round after you start off very strongly. And that's exactly what happened on day 1 for me. This creek that you are seeing me draw around right now for long grass is very prevalent along the course. You will see it in future holes that come along. And the trees on the right that I'm about to start drawing in is something that can be missed towards too if you fade it over there as a play of being conservative. From the front tees, this hole isn't that hard at all, other than missing left. It's only about 100 yards, but when you go to the tips, it's a different story. It can be a complete turnaround for this round. Hole 6 is a dangerous par 5 that requires pure strategy. It is the 5th hardest hole on this golf course according to Mansfield on the scorecard, being 545 yards, making it feel reachable for certain players, but it can easily be made into a mess. On the left are thick trees that play as a hazard. The bunker also is very much in play, being about 275 yards from the tips. The fairway is only 25 yards wide, making it even harder, and it only gets thinner as you go up and the approach gets harder. As you can see, it starts thinning out as I draw this in. Then either you go for it, which requires you to hit a draw around the trees and also to avoid the bunkers, but it can be quickly turned into a disaster. This green has a low area on the right side that many people end up in, which is not bad at all. The pin is on the back left part of that green. If that pin is in the front right part of the green, it is a very hard shot. What I personally did both days was hit a 3-wood twice, really no matter what, and then I played whatever I had left. Day 1 I had 120 yards and I hit that to 20 feet and made a par, and day 2 I had about 90 yards, left myself another 20-footer and I almost made that but had a par. This hole can be easily turned into a par if you play with strategy, but if you want to play risky, it can be a double bogey without question. Yes, birdies can be found, but there are easier ways. Hole 7 is the hardest par 4 on this course, there are only a few other holes you can argue with on this course, but on the front nine, no doubt. It is 454 yards in length, sometimes being played into the wind depending, with, as usual, a bunker on the left side about 260 yards from the tips. This is no surprise. Now, with the OB being on the left, it may be more appealing to go end up on the right side. But the thing about it is that there is some open space left of the bunker that you will see. On day 1, I blocked my drive left, and I learned that there is room over there. But on day 2, I hit a good drive straight down the middle. Both days I left myself about 180 yards. This green has a low area on the right side, and it is sort of the same on the left, but not as low. I bogeyed it both days, by the way. Hole 8 is a very interesting par 3, being double tiered like a lot of these holes. Many of these holes are ever exponentially uphill. It has some coffin bunkers protecting it, and a low area on both sides of the greens. I bogeyed it day 1 by 3-putting and parred it day 2 by making a 12-footer. At this point, I was 3 over on both of my rounds. Not too great. Moving on to hole 9, it is an easier hole, but there's still danger. Only about 369 yards in length, making it the shortest par 4 on this front 9. There are woods on the right and OB and trees on the left. If you get far enough down there, the OB is not a huge issue. There are also bunkers on the left and a bunker short right of the green. Lastly, just right of the fairway are moguls, which commonly flood when wet. I say that because I lost my ball in a huge pond of casual water on day 2. Luckily, when that happens, you just get a free drop, and sadly lose $5. I hooked it straight into the trees on day 1, and day 2, like I said, I hit into that pond that shouldn't be there. Anyways, I bogeyed it day 1, and I made a par day 2, capping my front 9 off for day 1 with a 40 at 4 over and 39 rather, which is 3 over. Hole 10 is an interesting but very simple par 3, being 199 yards in length. It has hills on the left and back of the green protecting it, and has a low area on the right of the green, which can be dangerous because your ball can easily be lost in those woods. Going right and very left equals bogey. There is a creek that doesn't really play much in this hole. I made a par on day 1, and I made a 30-footer for birdie on day 2. To be honest, I like the back more than the front. Hole 11 is a difficult par 4 that is a strange dogleg right. There's a big pond along the tee boxes and thick trees on the right side of this hole. This pond will come back to play on hole 16. Anyways, a huge miss is going left, which leaves you about 180 yards instead of, if you go down the center of the fairway, you'd have 160 or 150. Also, trying to go over the trees is something I've seen, and it ends with a penalty and no shot at the green. This green is a very difficult green because it kind of has 2 tiers to it. That right side, that back right part, that front left, and that kind of middle area. It is very sloped in that front left, though. I bogeyed it day 1, sadly, as I towed a 6-iron into that low area on the right side of the green. And day 2, I actually hit it my first good iron of the day, ignore my dog barking, and I made a good par, which was nice. Hole 12 is basically a copy of hole 11, but it is 60 yards shorter, being 54 yards in length, making it the shortest par 4 on this course. The thing about this hole is that people will just try to take it straight at the green instead of trying to lay up, and they end up with a 2-stroke penalty. Usually they'll have to go back to a tee. And like I was saying, there's there's I didn't draw the river in, the creek in, but it is actually there. I forgot to draw it in. Day 1, I hit a big draw with my 3-wood around the trees to about 135 yards in the middle of the fairway. I kind of towed it. And day 2, I hit a baby draw down the right side to leave myself about 105 yards. Moving on to the green, missing right is a death sentence with a low area that feeds into the woods. The green is divided into 2 tiers, with the front right part of the first tier and then the rest being the upper tier. It is a hole that sees many birdies but also bogeys. I parted both days. Hole 13 is another risk-reward hole reaching 503 yards in length. This was also played as a par 4 during the AJGA. The wind is also usually helping on this hole, which would give the AJGA team a good reason to make this a par 4. This fairway is very narrow, though, with trouble on both sides, the right side being considered hazard, and you have to punch out on the left side. I hit my drive into the trees on day 1, but got lucky by getting kicked out, and from there I made par, and on day 2 I hit it straight down the middle, hit a bad iron to short right of the green, leaving myself a hard chip and a par. But back to the green, it is a very hard green to actually get the ball to sit on, and there's a depression that you probably can see with that grass short right, similar to hole 3, but even deeper. This hole is easy to make a bogey on, but birdies and eagles are seed. Hole 14 is a very interesting hole, being a short par 3 of 166 yards, but the green is very difficult, and bunkers and low areas guard this hole. It is double tiered, and the low areas are on the left side of this hole, but it can be an exceptional area to chip if the pin is in the right side. This hole can be birdied and also bogeyed, and I proved that by birdieing it the first day and bogeying the second day. Hole 15 is a very strange hole. Oh, and you'll see that I mess up when it comes to drawing this hole. I kept it in though. Anyways, it is a 397 yard par 4, and both days I hit a good drive down the middle, then a good approach shot to 20 feet on day 1 and 12 feet on day 2. If you miss left on this hole, kind of in between 15 and 13, there is a huge depression that is basically impossible to chip from because of how narrow it is. I'm just gonna pretend I don't see what's going on. I'm breaking character. Hold on. If this green is also one of the hardest greens because of how severely sloped it is on the front. If the pin is in the front and you are behind it, it is very hard to make a putt. I somehow came up short though on day 2. This hole has many opportunities to be turned into a bogey, but if you play it right by playing 2 good shots, it's a birdie hole. Hole 16 is one of the hardest par 5s I have ever played. Stretching at 554 yards, the fairway is narrow for where you want to drive it, with hazards left, OB right, and more hazard past the OB, which honestly may save you from going OB, but that's really not anything great. There are moguls on the right that guard you from going into this hazard in the OB. Then there is some sort of creek that used to have water in it, I'm pretty sure, but not anymore, that runs through the middle. It is a dry goalie, but anyways, I topped it in those moguls, and that goalie ruined me. And I ended up making bogey day 2. I parted day 1. It can be difficult. Hole 17 is one of my favorite holes out here. It has a very wide fairway that is quite easy to hit, but there are woods left and OB right along with a bunker, of course. Then this green is wider than a lot of the greens on this course, and this green is easier than a lot of the greens on the course. It can still be a challenge, but it is quite the relief from a lot of the hard holes out here. I made par both days. Hole 18 is the hardest way to end, being the hardest hole on this back nine. There are so many things that can go wrong here. There is hazard left, OB right with cars driving and honking at you, and worst of all, a water park across the road where intoxicated college students will scream at you. That last part is not a joke. It happened to me on day 2. Anyways, this hole is 423 yards, but plays longer depending on the angle you take. The bunker isn't reachable personally, as it is 300 yards away from the tee. To make it simple, this hole is basically a copy and paste of number 11, but in mirror mode almost, and it isn't as big as a dogleg. Then the green is guarded by bunkers in a low area on the right. Day 1 I made par, and day 2 I sank a 25-foot putt for birdie to ruin dreams of 4 other people by finishing solo 10th at 7 over. Thank you for watching this video. I really enjoyed making it, and I hope it was enjoyable for you guys. I just want to let everyone know who is still watching to this point that my next video will be on something more interesting when it comes to golf, somewhat more historical since I love history myself. But anyways, that is going to do it for today. Like I said, like and subscribe, or NASA is bringing you to Mars, and you're going to go find legs for them. God bless.